What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Wednesday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt every morning. BettingPros.com. You know where to find this podcast. What are we on? 500? We're approaching our 500. Let me do math real fast. Is this close to 500? Hold on. So this is, if you had 365 days plus, this is the 120th of our second season. So we're at 485. 485 consecutive days for the Daily Juice Podcast. Oh my goodness. I've gambled for 485 consecutive days. When you stop and really put the math down to it, it is kind of psychotic. I mean, it is really crazy, but it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. Thanks for being here, guys. Video on YouTube, audio wherever you get your podcast, and always being brought to you by BetMGM. $10 bet wins $150. Use that promo code JUICE150 when you get a new account at BetMGM, BetMGM.com, JUICE150. All right, so it's been kind of a wacky up and down type of week. So the Astros do not score in Game 6. We get 7 bleeping runs from the Braves. And the Astros don't score a single run, man. Come off of it. Braves plus 120 wins the World Series. That cashes. Astros at plus 145 does not. So we wind up 0.2 units. Okay? We'll take it. It's a win, right? It's a W, not a huge win, but it's guaranteed money. No sweat on who wins, right? That's great. If you guys did not bet the in-game and the in-series, just took the Astros, that's a plus 120 cash. Congratulations for 1 full unit. It's plus 1.2 units you cashed. That's great. We wind up getting Eastern Michigan plus 9 right. They win outright. But Miami at minus 7.5, they lose by 2 on the road to Ohio. So we start 1-1 for MACtion football. 2 more plays coming tonight in MACtion. Davion Mitchell goes over on his prop at 7.5. He scores 18 for the Kings. That was big. We got that. And then Joe Ingles had an awful night. Over 8.5 points for him. He does not get anything. He scores 3 points. So unfortunately, we fall short on that. And then so overall, it's down 0.3 units. So, I mean, just kind of how we've gone. Kind of bleeding out by paper cuts in a kind of way. So, not great, but just, we keep firing and right back on the horse here on a Wednesday. So let me tell you right now, at the time of taping, and let's see if the books before we do this, I have a hockey play I want that I need to get into, but I cannot get to it because it has not been posted yet. So let's just see here if it's been posted. Do we have it? No, we do not. Okay, so no one's posting the Oilers game against the Predators tonight. Oilers are 7-1. And it's the same situation as what we saw when we bet on the Oilers last time on Monday, because home game, the opponent is coming off of a overtime back-to-back. So the Predators in overtime against Calgary. Now they're going to turn around and go and play again against a very good team in the Oilers at home. I like the Oilers on the puck line. So let's get the best price possible when that thing pops up. But half a unit will be Oilers on the puck line up against the Predators, who are now 4 and let's see what the final score was. They were 4-4 going into the game tonight, and then we had overtime. They were still in overtime when I last checked this game up against Calgary. But let's see where we are final for this one. And it is a are they still in overtime? No, hold on. Okay, so a win for Nashville, 3-2 in overtime. They beat Calgary. Nashville now 5-4 going into this. So we'll go back into this here. We'll jump on. We'll jump on the Oilers at home at 7-1, who have been just outstanding this season. One of the real nice surprises in the NHL right now is how good Edmonton has played. 7-1 overall. They're 4-1 at home, 3-0 on the road. And we were on the puck line last time. We're going to jump back on the puck line here with Nashville, which is now 5-4, 3-3 at home, 2-1 on the road here. But a back-to-back in overtime, so some tired legs potentially happening against this Edmonton team. It's going to be really good. So we're going puck line, Edmonton, half a unit coming up here tonight for play number 1. Okay, I will have 2 NBA player props I will give you guys in the Discord channel. I know a lot of you are new to the Discord channel, and so you just have to understand something, that I don't have to post the props early. In fact, I don't like posting player props early. I like to wait and see and make sure everyone's going to play, and then let the numbers shake out a little bit as to where I want to bet, okay? So just a heads up, like I know a couple of people were getting annoyed, like, where's Matt? Why did it was 4:10 Pacific time, and we bet 2 props on a game that started at 4:30 Pacific time. Why hasn't he posted the props? Well, just a heads up, like I'm not going to come in there and post it early. I'm just not. And I'm starting a new job this week, like you guys know, so I'm super busy. I'm running around, okay? Like, just cut me a little slack there before you go popping off in the Discord channel. Like, where are the player props? Like, okay, they're going to be there before the game, but it may be a West Coast game. And a West Coast game starts at 10 p.m. on the East Coast, okay? Just a heads up on that. You'll get 2 player props from me. We went 1-1 last night. But, I'll throw 2 more player props at you guys. So we'll have a half unit in hockey, half unit going for basketball, and 2 half unit bets going for MACtion. Let's talk about the first game of the night. Let's talk a little bit about Northern Illinois up against Kent State. This is interesting. All right, so Northern Illinois is 5-2-1 to the number, and Northern Illinois is undefeated right now in the Mid-American Conference. They beat Georgia Tech by 1. They were 19-point dogs, won by 1. They lost by 7 to Wyoming as 7-point dogs. They won by 7 against Eastern Michigan as a pick'em. They won by 2 against Toledo as 13-point dogs. They won by 8 against Bowling Green as 9-point favorites. And they won by 1 against Central Michigan as 6-point dogs. Okay, so they have won all 4 games in conference so far. And they've won by 7-2, 8-1. Tiny victories, okay? Skin of their teeth victories. Kent State is coming off a win over Ohio. They were 5-point favorites. They won by 7. They were 7-point dogs to Western Michigan on the road, and they lost by 33 points. But at home, they laid 7 and won by 10 up against Buffalo. Against Bowling Green at home, they were laying 16.5, and they won by 7. But they are 2-0 at home straight up, 1-1 against the number. Kent is 3-5 against the spread. But we start digging down into the numbers a little bit here. You start looking at Northern Illinois, and you start seeing some real opportunities here for Kent. Kent's going to have the better quarterback, and Kent State can throw the football. I think Kent State can move the ball here on a pass defense for Northern Illinois, 7.6 yards per pass play, 7.8 yards per play given up by Northern Illinois, and you've got a running attack for Kent that is tremendous. This is one of the best rushing teams in the MAC. 4 yards per carry against Northern's defense, which is 118th in college football against the run. 5.5 yards per rush. They give up 194 yards on the ground, all right? Kent State's going to run the ball all over the place here on Northern Illinois. 181 yards per game given out or rushed for by Kent State, and they're going to probably get more than that. On the other side, Northern Illinois, they like to run the ball as well. 224 yards rushing, 12th best in the country, up against Kent State, 213.7 yards per game given up. Yikes, okay? That is a big, big yikes. You got 5.5 yards per rush given up, 119th in the country. 2 rushing defenses that can't stop anybody. 4.7 yards per rush for Northern Illinois. That's 44th best here in the country. For Northern, passing is okay. 6.9 yards per pass play, 87th. And you've got 7.5 yards per pass play given up for Kent State. So kind of in line with each other there. But Northern only throws for 148.9 yards per game. That's 119th in the nation. On the other side, 288 yards given up per game. That's 117th in the country for Kent. So Kent's defense is not that good. So how do they win this game? And why are they favored in this game? Because they are. They're favored by 3.5. I think the reason why they're favored is because there's been a lot of luck here for Northern Illinois. And at 4-0, this is a really big game for the standings. And this is a really big game in the conference. You got a home team with Kent State at home, and Northern at 4-0, 3-1 at home, 3-1 on the road so far, 6-2 overall. They've won 5 consecutive games. On the other side, Kent State in the East, they're 3-1 in the conference. They're 3-0 at home, 1-4 on the road. Okay, so they're undefeated at home, and they have an opportunity here to keep pace, to get another game lead. Miami lost last night. Kent State 3-1 at home. It's a small number, right? 3.5. If you can find a 3, I like 3 better than 3.5, obviously, right? But I think you're going to see, and this is why the books have made Kent State a favorite. I think people are going to go, wait a minute, why is Northern a dog here on the road? They're 4-0. I just think this is a time where you're going to see mistakes get made, and I think you're going to see some turnovers here by Northern. Northern has given the ball away 1.1 times a game. That's 38th best in the country. 2.1 takeaways a game, though, for Kent State. That's 8th best in the country. So you need takeaways here. Kent State is pretty good at taking the football away, and then so you've got on the other side, they only give the ball 0.7. They don't hurt themselves. 5th best in the country. That's big. Kent State's turnover margin is plus 1.4. Number 1 in the country, okay? Northern, 0.3, plus 0.3. That's 85th best in the country. But they do turn the ball over. I think what the books are saying is that Kent State will get the turnover, will get a pick, will get a fumble recovery. They're at home. They'll ride it. You could say it's a 3-point, home advantage here. I'm going to say Northern Illinois. They talked about it on the broadcast last night for the MAC games about how much the conference is pulling for Kent State. Time for Northern to lose, to get their first loss. I'm going to lay the 3.5 points here with Kent State. I think this game is going to be super fun, super high scoring. I'll have a personal play on the over here. I had a personal play on the Ball State over again last night and lost that by 2 points. 67, 68. It's going to be a crazy game. I don't think either team stops anybody, but I'll take the home team here in a shootout. Kent State over Northern Illinois. I'll lay the 3.5 for a half a unit. Second play. This is MACtion. Central Michigan at Western Michigan. When I think about MAC football, crazy, high scoring, back and forth, wacko games, this is what I think about. I went shopping, and I found 65.5 from a total perspective. Get a load of these defenses here, all right? Yeah. Western Michigan's giving up 31.1 points per game. Central Michigan's giving up 32.4 points per game. Total yards given up for Central Michigan per game, 452.6. Total yards given up for Western Michigan, 358.4. On offense, Central Michigan is averaging just 26.7 points per game, but 440 yards of offense per game. It is psychotic. They are 36% on third down. That's 90th in the country. Not bad. Okay. 5.6 yards per pass play. Western Michigan's defense not bad on third down, 32% conversion rate, 15th best in the country. But on the other side, you got Western Michigan's offense, 40% third down conversion rate, 32% conversion rate for Central Michigan. So both defenses can get off the field here, but they give up a ton of yards because they don't have many third downs. So first down and second down. You're talking about an offense that runs the ball, 4.2 yards per rush for Central, 4.3 given up for Western, 3.9 yards per rush for Western, 3.8 yards per rush for Central Michigan. Now, this is when it gets really wonky. The passing numbers for both these teams, not good. Central throws for 7.1, Western gives up 8.3. Central passes for 296, Western gives up 218. Western throws for 260, Central gives up 307 yards per game through the air. They give up 145 yards rushing and 307 yards per the air. I mean, my goodness gracious. You got Western averaging 8.2 yards per pass play already, and then 9.5 yards per pass play given up for Central. Western's favored by 10, but the total is 65.5. This is why you bet overs. When you're looking for games to bet over, this is the game you bet over. Central and Western in crazy MACtion, 51-49, 51-41 type of game here. We're talking just like psychotic scoring, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. These are the games that make us call it MACtion. I'm betting the over, 65.5 over Central Michigan versus Western Michigan in truly a MACtion nutcase fun game. All right, so I don't know the price yet for the Oilers puck line. We'll have that on the Discord channel once I find it and I like it in the morning. But we're going Oilers puck line in the NHL, going back to the same bet we had on Monday up against a team that could be tired in Nashville. We're going NBA player props we'll give out on the Discord channel coming up here in a little bit. And then we're going Kent State minus 3.5 at home. and over 65.5 for Central and Western Michigan here for a Wednesday. Big Thursday. We got a lot of football to get into in Thursday, and boy, do we have a ton of stuff to get into this weekend. We've got big college football. We have a monster Canelo versus Plant boxing match here in Vegas that I would have been going to if I didn't leave my job. So I was credentialed with my other job. My new job, not credentialed because I wasn't working there in time to actually, request a credential. So I'm not going to Canelo versus Plant, but that's a monster fight. And then we have UFC, the UFC 268 card in New York, Colby Covington up against Kamaru Usman, but there are so many big fights. Saturday, I'll be involved in college football, but get ready for a monster combat card on Saturday's podcast because I'm going to be heavily involved in the cards, in the fights coming up here for the UFC event and the boxing match all coming up here on Saturday night. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by BetMGM.